Hey everybody, today is October 21st, 2022. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And welcome to Hanging with Uncle.
How's it going, man?
You know, it's going, man. I've going through some changes, you know. This week has, you know, Father Time has run me down.
No, I feel you. I feel you on that. I mean, I'm sorry to hear, you have some stuff going on with the breathing. I hope it does get better. But yeah, Father, he's undefeated. You know,
He is undefeated.
He will catch up with you eventually.
So just to let everybody know, I'm gotta stop, smoking. Gotta stop talking to Uncle because my asthma's really been kicking my ass. So it's strictly edibles for me from this point on. Sorry, I
it's
don't
all
want
good.
to disappoint, but I can't outrun Father Time. I'm slow already.
Alrighty, no worries. But I mean, I have my own pre-roll here that I'm celebrating on, but at a good safe distance from Gene, so he doesn't get any second or anything like that, so he's not breathing that to enhance or any more flare-ups or anything like that for this man, because got to keep that breathing clean now.
Yeah.
You know?
It feels like, my chest is in a vice. If I just cough, it hurts, man. I feel like I've got, like, knives in my chest or something.
I'm so sorry, man. That's rough. But, we both have been kind of experiencing a rough week, it sounds like. Mine's not necessarily health. It's more of like a motivational kind of deal.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work on motivating myself to, not necessarily change, but, like, make effort towards, like, my job, like, all that. I'm still trying to find, like, that motivation grind. Like, yes, there are things that I have that I love and that I'm keeping afloat with the money that I'm making for my work and all, but it's like sometimes when you're working and you don't know if you like it or not, like that really is what keeps you around in the job or not. So I mean, I'm trying to embrace the new work culture that I have now, but still working on it.
So just FYI, please hit that subscribe button if you've not hit that subscribe button yet, and hit the like button, that thumbs up.
Yeah, and hit the bell for notifications for us whenever we go live in the future. And follow us on Twitter if you want to get in the conversation and maybe give us a hint on something to talk about on the show.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, we had a big story today I know you wanted to talk about.
So the Tangerine Terror got served today by the January 6th Select Committee.
Perfect. Hey, I mean, now... Woo, sorry. Is this like a, hey, served, here you go, or is he expected to do something?
It's an official subpoena service that you must comply with. Getting a subpoena from Congress is the same as getting a subpoena from the any district attorney's office or anybody else that has the authority to compel you to go before them and bring testimony or documents.
Okay, so I mean, he's in trouble, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah. So, like, for example, Steve Bannon got sentenced today.
Okay.
For his contempt of Congress because he decided he just wasn't going to show up and honor the subpoena that Congress gave him. So he was fined $250,000 and 4 months in jail.
Only 4 months.
Only 4 months, which to me, that's the most he could get was a year.
I mean, I feel like that's soft anyways. But
it really is, in my opinion. But it goes deeper than that. So let's kind of put it in perspective so, you kind of understand where we are with this, right?
Okay.
January 3rd, a new Congress starts. So that means Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, the two Republicans that sit on the January 6th Select Committee, will no longer be in Congress and will have no authority come January 3rd when the new Congress is sworn in.
Okay.
So that means if I know the playbook from the Tangerine Terror, he's going to try and run the clock out, not show up, delay, and say, well, hey, Congress doesn't have any authority now because we have a new Congress.
Dang, they can just change it like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Every 2 years we have a new Congress. That's why every 2 years we have an election.
Right.
It is that important to pay attention, to always know what's going on for things like this.
Even if someone's going on trial and then the people change, they don't continue with the trial. They can just be like, okay, no, never mind. We're not doing it anymore.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
All right. If all they did was subpoena him and did nothing else, then there's no consequences. The subpoena means nothing anymore.
Okay.
But If they do with him what they did with Steve Bannon and refer him to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, for contempt of Congress before January 2nd, now it doesn't matter what happens in Congress because you've been given a lawful subpoena, you chose to ignore it, and just because there's a new Congress now does not excuse you from complying with it under the Department of Justice.
So could this new Congress just completely get rid of the Sixth Committee?
If Republicans get control of the House, Kevin McCarthy would be the Speaker of the House, and he 100% would disband the January 6th Select Committee, and any investigations into the riot on our Capitol would stop.
That's really silly to me because this is a justice thing. So shouldn't this be like something that should naturally still be occurring? Yes or no? Like shouldn't a neutral party be behind this, like the FBI or something like that, instead of people who literally are a part of the six riots? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like how can that's like putting an investigation on yourself.
It kind of is. So here's my take on it, and this is what I think is going to happen because we already know this dumbass is not going to comply with the subpoena. He's not going to show up. So, with all the evidence that the January 6th Select Committee has come out with the plot for the fake electors to replace the real electors, to certify the vote, the electoral vote, right? You're familiar with the fake elector scheme, right?
Actually, no, I'm not quite familiar with it.
So like here in Arizona, Biden won.
Right.
There's electors that the state has that certify the election, and they go to Washington, D.C. on December 14th to certify these are the election results from the state of Arizona.
Okay.
Well, the Republican Party has said, no, to hell with that. We're going to send fake electors. We're going to pick our own electors to say Trump won instead of Biden, which is a crime.
Right.
So those crimes, the crimes of him inciting a riot on the Capitol, the crimes of him obstructing an official proceeding of Congress to certify the electoral college vote and a peaceful transfer of power, along with all the other crimes. In my opinion, what's going to happen, I don't think they expect him to show up. What they're going to do, and again, this is just me guessing, they're going to submit to the Department of Justice a criminal referral for him for contempt of Congress for not obeying a lawful subpoena, and tie in all these other crimes that they've uncovered and have proof of, and submit everything to the Department of Justice.
Okay.
You have the investigation right there.
Right, okay.
Now it doesn't matter. Come January 3rd, if they refer this to the Department of Justice January 2nd, he can't outrun it now. There is no dodging or delaying it. He's on the hook for it, period. The committee's done its job. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger can go into retirement very happily knowing they've done their job.
They've done their job. Okay. No, that's concerning. So why does it feel like everything that is being done with this man has some sort of deadline that these people have to try to make, or it doesn't happen anymore? Like there's always some sort of hurdle that they have to jump over with these things that they have planned for the Tangerine Terror.
Because there's a thing called the statute of limitations.
Okay.
So that's why they have X amount of time to do whatever they're going to do by whatever date. So like he's supposed to appear before the committee on November the 14th. We already know he's not going to show up. The midterms will have already happened because they're on November 8th.
Right.
So that's what I think. They're just going to tie all of his crimes up in a nice little bow, and put the contempt of Congress on there, and ship him off to federal prison.
I mean, good. If that's what he deserves, then yeah, it's good. I mean, it just has to, like you said, it has to be done within that certain time frame, which is so crazy. Like it builds just more drama to it, I guess.
And now the ball is in Merrick Garland's hands, right?
Yep.
And now they have 2 years because he'll still be Attorney General for the next 2 years. Unless Biden gets reelected, then he'll have 4 months. But again, the statute of limitations.
Right.
So that's what I think is going to happen. Again, with all the documents, the top secret and secret documents that he hid at Mar-a-Lago and who knows where else, all those crimes are going to be tied into one nice little package and submitted to the Department of Justice along with his contempt of Congress. And they're going to say, we've done our job.
Good. I mean, that's what we look forward to, right? To have people doing their jobs and actually leading our country and by example. Thank
Right?
God. I ask for that for everybody, and everywhere, honestly.
If it were you or I, we'd already be in jail.
Yeah, fact. That's a damn fact. I mean, but still, it's just I'm happy that it looks like it's turning out to be in a good progressive motion when it comes to this man. Because again, it's at a point where one, I'm tired of hearing about it, but two, something just needs to happen.
Yeah, it does need to happen. And all of his cronies, like Fonnie Willis, who's the county attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, where his phone call crime of, hey, just find me 11,780 votes. Lindsey Graham lost his bid to quash his subpoena. He's mandated to go now and testify, which he'll probably just go and plead the fifth. Because he also called Georgia saying,
right,
hey, just throw out these ballots, saying the signatures don't match. Giuliani is on the hook. They're all going down. Eastman, his attorney, is going down. This was revealed, the text messages that Eastman had. This is Trump's attorney. Knowing that the statements he was saying were false, and the Tangerine terrorist dumbass signed the documents anyway, putting him on the hook for falsifying records, and that's under the penalty of perjury.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is also a crime.
That's treasonous, man. The king's on you for that one, definitely. Yeah. Well, again, all these people deserve these sentences, and good. I'm glad. That guy who only got 4 months, that's absolutely ridiculous. If they only get slapped on the wrist like that, that's obviously not going to do anything. But does that affect their seat of where they are within our government? Are they not able to be a part of our government anymore?
If Bannon was never part of our government.
Well, obviously, yes. But, is he not able to be an advisor anymore? Or
No.
is anybody else who's included? Not just him.
He will not be able to vote. He'll be a convicted felon. Well, this is just a misdemeanor, the contempt of Congress thing. But what Bannon is forgetting is that he's also part of the bigger picture in his involvement in the January 6th coup to overthrow the government, because he was there with the planning. He knew what was going to happen. Remember, he was on his podcast saying all hell is going to break loose. He knew what was going to happen. So probably while he's in there for his 4 months, felony charges will be brought against him, and he'll never see the light of day again, hopefully.
Hopefully. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, because they'll just end up back in our government again. They'll end up right back into the Senate, right back into the seats that they were just sitting in comfortably right after their little sentence in jail that they have. If that's all they get, it's just the 4 months.
And I hope, again, still, to satisfy Gene, I'm waiting to see what sitting members of Congress, the House of Representatives and Senate, which one of them, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was also involved in the plot for January 6th, when are they going to be brought to justice?
Right. Who was texting out locations of AOC and all that, too? Who was doing that?
Yeah.
We got to figure out who all these people are.
And see, that's something that the committee has never made public, but I believe they have that information.
There's no way they don't have that information. That'd be crazy.
Be part of their criminal referral. So they're going to bring, here you go, Merrick Garland, here's everything we have on Ted Cruz, on Marjorie Taylor, on Josh Hawley, on Lauren Boebert, on Lindsey Graham, on everybody that's sitting in Congress and what they did. And under Chapter 3 of the 14th Amendment, they will be disqualified from ever holding public office again. They couldn't even run for dog catcher.
That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I want right there. Boom. Responsibilities taken. New people in seats.
Yes.
That's what I like to see.
Accountability.
That's what I want right there. New people in the seat.
So elections have consequences. I mean, I could go on and on about elections and how important these midterms are, but I think I'm going to end it there.
Okay.
Because, just pay attention, people. And Republicans are full of shit. They're nasty and evil. Vote Democrat.
So now I'm not a huge gun nerd. I'm not a big gun fan. We do talk a lot about the use of these weapons on our show here, and proper usage, all that. You were a cop and back in the day, so we've always talked about just the definition of a gun to Americans here. I feel like on our show, where self-defense, protection of a home, all the other factors that we've talked about. But I wanted to talk about kind of Canada making a big move today that I noticed, that they have a new policy for handgun sales where there's no policy at all. They're not allowed to anymore. Like there's a freeze, I guess. Is that what's going on there?
I believe what it is they can't be brought across the border.
Okay.
So you can't take your guns from the United States or buy them and then go into Canada with them or have guns. So if you lived in Canada and I couldn't say, here, Zane, have my gun, that would be a violation of Canadian law. I believe that's the way the law is written, if I understand it correctly.
They have frozen the market of handguns in the country, period.
Nice. Even better.
Even better. So that's what they're saying. They even said it here. Trudeau says, we have frozen the market of handguns in this country. As we see gun violence continues to rise, we have an obligation to take action. Today, our national handgun freeze is coming into force. So yeah, national handgun freeze, Canada. I mean, I feel like that's a big move to it's not something I'm saying that we need to have happen here. Because that's gonna cause mass chaos. I'm gonna be honest. People are gonna lose their shit because they're gonna be losing their toys and get their toys taken away, whichever. I'm not necessarily saying that. I've always preached on the show. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be regulated. I want people to have licenses for it. I want people to be above a certain age to be able to hold on to it. I want that kind of shit. Just like the cars that we drive here in everyday life, right?
That's probably why the word regulated is in the Second Amendment.
That's literally what I ask for, is regulate, please. I want the people who are standing next to me with a gun on their holster to know what they're doing and not to make me question if they know what they're doing or not. That would suck. Now, that's how I feel every time I walk into Walmart.
Yes.
Like
I am totally against open carry myself. Mm-hmm. If you are that much of a chicken shit that you feel you have to walk out with a gun on your hip, you're a dumbass.
It's more like, okay, so but my thing is not necessarily there are people who are in the military who feel safe having it with them. Ex-military who feel safe having it with them. Honestly, if they're licensed to be able to carry it with themselves, sure, whichever. I'm down with that. Concealed, open, whichever. But again, my stance on it is, if you have it, I want you to be able to use it. Period. That's it. That's Zane's stance on it. You need to be trained and know how to use the thing that you're standing there acting so cocky with using. That's it. I want to be the peace of mind civilian, the passerby that sees you at Walmart scanning your pop cereal and all that nonsense, seeing it on your holster. Just want to know that you're able to use that weapon. So in case something were to happen to where you're going to have to use it, thank God you know how to use it. That's the only reason why people bring them around and protect themselves. That's, again, what I'm saying, to protect yourself. That's the stance that I have here.
See, and I have a different take on that.
Uh-huh.
So, I was a cop in California.
Okay.
I agree with the mentality of the concealed carry that California
I agree as well. I'm about it, sure.
Right. So in California, only police chiefs and sheriffs are allowed to issue concealed weapons permits. And the only people that can justify having them are people that need to protect themselves for their job. So if I'm a cab driver, I carry cash in my cab. I don't want to get robbed driving my cab. Right? Mm-hmm. That's justifiable. That makes sense.
That's place of business.
If I'm an armored car driver, how many times have armored cars been, hit? Yes, protect yourself. But if I'm just gonna go shopping at the store, leave that shit at home.
I mean, it is how it is. I mean, just how I want just everyone to be able to be happy with what they want, and the world is all happy. But obviously, Zane, the world can't be happy all the time. But that's just it's the one thing that bothers me is that people feel like they have to have these things. And it's like, okay, cool, but think about the people who don't want to have it but are still cool about it. It's like, okay, but I don't want to. I'm not a gun guy. Again, I'm not a gun guy, but.
Yeah.
I just ask for the gun people to be safe with those, because that's bad if you're not safe with it. You know what I mean? That's literally bottom line. Like, I feel like that's too much to ask for sometimes.
So
Like,
just personal experience, I've seen too many people who say, well, I needed to carry it for my protection, that have
I
ended
carry.
up getting their guns taken away from them and getting shot with their own guns because they're dumbasses.
I mean, I carry my knife with myself for protection.
yeah.
Like,
That makes sense.
I'm a pretty big guy, and add sharp object with me. There we go, case closed. You know what I mean? But like, I don't need to be carrying around something like that around, because I don't feel the need to. It's not something that I feel the need to have. Like, it's
Yeah.
just. I'm allowed to feel that way. I'm not trying to tell other people to feel that way. I want you to be safe with your shit. Like,
And if you're gonna carry it concealed.
I mean,
Don't carry it where everybody can see the shit.
a super deep, I guess, backstory to Zane. I've had an uncle who has died to accidental fire. Like, it really was. It's a real thing. One of my uncles has passed because he and his friends were hanging out, looking at the gun that they had. Thought it was on the safety was on, and guess what?
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Why wasn't it? Because they weren't safe gun users. They weren't trained. Like, they literally were just using it and messing around with it because it was cool to show off with their friends.
Man, when I was 4 years old,
Mm-hmm.
my oldest brother's best friend, who lived around the corner from us,
Mm-hmm.
same thing, man. So my oldest brother, he's 4 years older than me, right? And his older brother was fucking around, got his dad's gun. Hey, man, kids playing with, number one, he shouldn't have been able to get it because it wasn't stored safely for a kid to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking the gun was not loaded or it's safe, shoots and kills his 8-year-old brother.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, so from 4 years old, that's my
Right.
first memory of gun safety and the lack of it.
Yeah, and like, it's just losing a family member obviously is a big impact, obviously, in your life. And when it comes to something like that, when I learned something about, like, I was like 8, I think, when I learned about it, or I was told about it, and like, it was a big shock to me, because I was like, well, dang, like, that sucks. I've always,
Yeah.
like, it's just really sucky to lose family to that, or even lose somebody to it, an accident.
Look at the leader of the Oath Keepers, Elmer Rhodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's wears an eye patch, who's
I've seen him,
being
yeah.
prosecuted for seditious conspiracy for January 6th.
Yeah.
The reason he wears an eye patch is because he shot his eye out.
Jesus.
And he's a licensed, registered gun instructor.
But isn't that like kind of an obvious like hello? Like, even if you have your license when you're driving your car, you still have accidents.
So here's my thing, and I you can't tell me it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
There's only two type of gun owners:
Mm-hmm.
those that have had accidental discharges, and
Mhm,
those
those that
that
haven't.
will have accidental discharges.
Oh shit! I mean, that's deep, but
I mean, that's just
that's
it.
fact. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. That's a big fact right there. It's just, I mean, that's all I ask for, man. It's just people to be safe. Like, again, family history. I've had it impact my family before, though. I've lost a family member due to an accidental discharge.
Yeah.
I'm not asking people to go turn your shit in. I'm not asking us to do a freeze like Canada did, which is where this original story came from.
Yeah.
But it's just, I want people to go out and educate themselves and be safe and knowledgeable about the things that they are interested in.
I still like the Switzerland model.
Hey, I mean, whichever. If you want to go Swiss, we go Swiss. Like,
I mean, you have all the guns you want.
mm-hmm.
You don't have any ammo at home because that's against the law. But you want to go shoot it. There's designated places where you can bring your weapon to go shoot it, be trained to know how to use it, and when you leave, the ammo stays there, and you bring your gun home with you.
I mean, we did talk that I do feel that to make guns a more, I guess, positive mindset in our country is to shop a sport somewhere, make it more sport than anything.
Yeah.
Instead of, here, hey, this is for self-defense and for you to kill people. No, like, hey, shoot at discus, shoot discs, shoot targets, Go be like Keanu Reeves and shoot fast at targets. It's so sick to watch.
Yeah.
Like, go do that kind of shit. Train yourself. Train your body in a safe environment. And like more places for that safe use. Sure. I mean, I'd be all for that if we had safe gun usage in places. Just like how I'm all for safe drug uses places for people who have those kind of illnesses. Like it just if you regulate it that way, it helps society in the future. And I feel like that is just the positive direction that we can take with just guns in general.
Absolutely.
Again, not going Canadian freeze, but make more of a sport about it of shooting targets and practicing with them in safe environments.
I think the people of Switzerland love their guns just as much, if not more, than people here in the United States.
I'm sure they do. I mean,
you don't see any gun bullshit happening over there.
I'm sure gun lovers love their guns just as much as I love video games because I'm a gamer, and I will definitely compare it to that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't go gaming everywhere. I do it in a safe environment at home. Right. Anyways, let's go on to our dumbass of the week.
It is time. Man, I got to tell you.
You go first.
So the NBA just kicked off this week, right?
Yep.
My dumbass of the week are the Los Angeles
Yeah.
Lakers.
All right, let's get it.
Oh my God, get rid of Russell Westbrook. Get some people that know how to put the ball in the hoop, that can shoot it. You are like just hemorrhaging money. You're stupid for not dealing him when you had the chance. You had an entire off season. Oh my God, are you trying to lose fans?
Get rid of Brittle Bone Davis and get rid and please find some shooting and stop trying to find shooting through him. I actually liked watching them play against the Clippers the other day. They're scrappy. I love Patrick Beverley on the team. Yeah. I think it's cool. Like I honestly liked watching the Lakers play against the Clippers, and when it got close, it got close. But the reason why the Clippers pulled ahead is because they got on shooting streaks. Where were the Lakers' shooting streaks? They didn't have any. It was Bron, shoot it. Bron, shoot it. Beverly, try to shoot it. Like you gotta get shooters, man. You gotta get people who can shoot on that team.
Yeah,
and they're lacking that definitely. Without a doubt.
So I'm gonna make my prediction again this year, just like I did last year. It's the same one. The Lakers will not make the playoffs.
Man, they gotta pull shooters. They gotta get them soon.
Yeah,
somehow, some way. Well, mine's kind of a different take. It's centered around Kanye West. No, necessarily, yes.
That's a good one.
Kanye's mental status right now, I could say, dealing with people who have mental illness, who has experience with people who have mental illness, and all that. I'm not defining him as mentally ill. I can't do that. I'm not a psychiatrist. That's not my deal.
You're not diagnosing him.
Not diagnosing him. But my take is that he is not in a good place in his mind from what I have seen. And not necessarily calling him a dumbass directly, because that is exactly what the community is doing. Now, I don't have any heart towards Kanye. I don't listen to his music. I don't normally... I'm not a Kanye fan. But feeding into the fuel, the fire of what he has, the power that he has, the immense of followership that he has, and the things that he says, like, yes, there's some dumbassery to it. That's why I'm putting it on the dumbass platform. But more the dumbass take on this Kanye thing is more just how people are feeding into it. Still,
the comments he made about George Floyd to me are just. They're not forgivable.
Understandable, yes. And it's, again, a dumbass thing to say. That's why it's on the dumbass podium. But it's more of a PSA as well. Again, so if somebody who's worked with people who have gone through breaks like this, I've seen mental breaks like this.
Yeah.
Feeding the fire, giving him a pedestal, not saying being supportive and telling him what he's saying is true, or even being against him, telling him what he's saying is not true, is necessarily just being there and trying to support and get this man off of this cycle. He is on a weird cycle to where even people who are demonstrating fact to him is not processing in his brain. That's where he's at. And it's the people who are around him and the lack of people who are around him. He constantly brings up his kids. Constantly. Of course, because it's his children. They got taken away from him.
Yeah.
And it's because he's been on this cycle break and has not had that support or the necessary guidance in some way, shape, or form to get out of it. So yes, the things that he said are very dumbass things. Again, that's why I'm using it on my podium. But honestly, the take about it is we need to somehow help and solve this for what he is doing and talking about, because he's literally saying he's not anti-Semitic and then starts saying anti-Semitic things right the sentence afterwards. Literally in the same breath.
Not DEFCON.
Right.
DEFCON.
It's he needs, somebody needs to pull him away from not necessarily just where he's getting all this information, away from society, away from whatever he's getting, where he's getting his mental rap from. I have a brother who obsessively thinks about fire trucks, and and yes, that's a happy thing, but pulling that away from him, and having him learn more about things around him helped him develop more of a mature mindset and understanding more things and understanding and growing and becoming more of an adult in society. With Kanye right now, he's stuck in this cycle, and the people around him just need to find a way to get him not saying away from society because he's a threat, but he needs to have his own just like getaway time to relax, focus on Ye, with his name now, by the way, focus on Ye and not focus on these things that you are obsessing about, because that's where he's at right now, man. And again, with his platform, it's a dangerous thing.
I agree.
But anyways, that's all the time that we have today. I'm sorry.
No, man. Honestly, I could go on and on about that idiot too, man.
It's hard for me to call him names because I know what it's like to work with people who have had mental everything, right?
But he's refusing to take his meds.
But that's the thing, like, I understand. I have a brother who refuses to take his meds, but is he like that? No.
But the world's not listening to him talking,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He needs to find some feng shui thing to mentally set his brain. If he's not going to take his meds, get out there and get away from the things that are causing him to be this way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I agree.
That's it.
All right. And that's all the time we have for this week.
Anyways.
Thank you for listening with us. I'm Gene.
I'm Zane.
And we'll see you next week.
Take care. Have a safe weekend.